Welcome everybody to another installment of the Static Paper. We are here,
Happy
and
Monday.
we are going to discuss double standards.
Ooh.
And our guinea pig today is Steve Bannon. In case you had not heard, Steve Bannon has been told to report for his 4-month jail sentence for a defying of Congress, or yes, a subpoena. Yep. So I'll read you the article. Steve Bannon, a former ally of President Trump, still an ally, must report to prison July 1st to serve his 4-month sentence for defying a subpoena from the House committee that investigated the U.S. Capitol insurrection. Insurrection. The federal judge.
What is going on?
Right.
I've got good lawyers, and we're going to go all the way to the Supreme Court if we have to, he told reporters. Bannon said anyway. This is about shutting down the MAGA movement. There's not a prison built or jail built that will ever shut me up. Now, they're putting him in behind bars for defying a subpoena. Now they have set precedent. But have they?
Yeah.
Have they set precedent? Or have they set precedent that if you are the left, you don't have to do it? That's the question.
Well, yeah, that's true. If you're on the left, you don't have to do it. But the whole, do most people even know what this whole thing stems from? Like, as a reminder to people, is that during the whole January 6th debacle, that whole committee thing, they told Bannon he had to testify. He said he couldn't because Donald Trump invoked executive privilege, right? And so between him and his lawyers, he said, I can't do it because they haven't allowed it. Then Donald Trump waived it. Then he said, okay, now I can testify. And they said, too bad, too late. Now you're going to jail.
Right.
That's what it really comes down to. So he was stuck in a rock and a hard place where his lawyers advised him not to do anything. He did the thing. And then they said once they were able to do it, he was going to negotiate to come in to testify. And then they said, we don't care.
Typical.
Yeah.
However, there's another guy that defied a subpoena. And for some reason, he's still he's still free.
Yeah.
That would be Hunter Biden. Now, mind you, I'm using all left-wing sources. I think they're the most credible. They're very believable. They're not fake news at all.
And definitely not propaganda. They're viable sources.
Don't lie about these people. They're just trying to make money. He did not show up, and we're going to listen to how he sounds like his daddy. Y'all gonna like this.
Earlier today, Hunter Biden declined to appear for his scheduled deposition before the House Oversight Committee.
Whoa, wait. Say it again. He did what? He didn't, and it was scheduled.
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be defying a subpoena?
Yes. Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Okay.
The president's son was subpoenaed to testify behind closed doors this morning. He says he will only testify in public.
Right. And within the last hour, we have heard from Republicans about this. Committee Chairman James Comer and Jim Jordan say their investigation is credible, in their words, and transparent. They told reporters this morning that they may potentially look at initiating proceedings for contempt of Congress. Hunter Biden
maybe look at. Okay, so this is the problem with Republicans, right? And I'm going to say this here and now. All of you are chicken, wussy, soft, cowards. You're going to just think about doing it? This is a blatant violation of your own rules, and you're just thinking about it?
Yep. Yeah, that's how they be.
Sounds about right.
Made remarks around 90 minutes ago, and we want to play a bit of what he had to say.
They have lied over and over about every aspect of my personal and professional life. So much so that their lies have become the false facts believed by too many people.
That
So
sounds
our
familiar.
Patrick Harridge
Wait a minute.
Now, go ahead.
Yeah.
So false facts. So he was not subscribing to CP. He was not smoking crack so much so that sometimes he thought Parmesan was crack. He did not have a laptop. He was not under investigation for gun charges. And now you're telling me that's all false.
All false.
Oh, you also can't forget his tax issues.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Never forget that.
Yeah, everybody kind of forgets the tax thing where he was just giving his daddy money, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, no, it's a gift."
False facts, though. That's
Yeah.
what we're saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
just
just
making
surprised
sure.
that he's still walking around, even though he's under trial for something else right now. He should be under trial for everything he's done, but he's not. But he's not the only one that has done this. If people want to think, well, it's too soon, you can't hold him. Okay, let's talk about another guy, Eric Holder. Y'all remember him?
Yes.
yeah, I remember.
He's a little Negro
Good old
boy.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Isn't he the guy that said, if they go low, we kick them?
Yes.
Kick him, yeah.
That is
Oh,
him.
yeah, okay.
So should the House have held? Should they have Eric Holder in contempt? The question is not whether they should have. The question is why did they not do it earlier? That's a very good question, and this is by U.S. News. Despite the attempts by Democrats to spin this into something it is not, the contempt is very straightforward. Darrell Issa committee issued a subpoena for documents relating to the Fast and Furious scandal. Congress, like the courts, have subpoena power. A subpoena is simply an order to appear on a certain date at a certain time to give testimony. A subpoena can also command someone to bring items and documents with them to their testimony. This is what has been happening in the White House in the House of Representatives. When someone receives a subpoena, they can either comply or challenge the subpoena on certain legal grounds and claim the documents are privileged. What they cannot do is ignore the subpoena, and that is what Eric Holder did. For months, Holder has ignored the subpoena. When Darrell Issa asked if the documents had been assembled with the Justice Department, Holder refused to answer. In short, he was thumbing his nose at the committee.
Interesting.
Which is what he did. And for people that don't have a long memory like we do, that was over Operation Fast and Furious, where it resulted in the death of a Border Patrol officer from the guns that they lost.
What difference does it make?
Yeah, I know. What difference?
What difference does it make? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, these people are so corrupt. And we keep talking about on the show about the rules for thee, not for me. And they do it right in front of our faces because they're mocking us. They're telling us to our faces, like, look, we can do whatever we want. And we're going to show you guys we can do whatever I want and whatever they want. And here it is. Real time. They show us.
But Bannon, 4 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, think about the timing. Elections around the corner. Elections. Okay. So far, you've silenced just about everyone that has to do with the Donald Trump take on everything political. I wouldn't be surprised if they tell Dr. Phil he has to take that interview down.
Yep.
Or they go after him for putting him on his platform.
And real quick, don't mean to cut you off, but real quick on Dr. Phil, TikTok wouldn't even allow him to do a promo on the app.
I saw that.
So what are they scared of?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Dr. Phil is now a persona non grata individual.
Yes.
Hey, but the good thing is he might get red pilled. If he gets red
I
pilled,
think he's getting there.
I think he's
close.
already there.
He's real close.
Teeter-tottering. Yeah.
He's real close.
He's pretty
All
close,
that's left to do is to disown Oprah, and he'll be
Yes.
good. If he does that one thing, I'll back Dr. Phil. If he says, "I'm done with Oprah. She is a piece of crap, liar," you got me, man. But
I still think that's funny that she dumped all of her Jenny Craig stuff and went right into Ozempic.
Hey, a shot's better than a pill, and a shot's better than drinking and eating right. She needs it quick, fast, and in a hurry, just like she likes her kidnapped children. These supposed defying of subpoena. It's another result of them trying to suppress the press. Like this is what they said Donald Trump would do, right? They said he would remove freedom of the press. He would try and silence, and all of a sudden you're seeing everybody getting silenced. All the right-wing people are getting silenced. All the conservatives are getting shit, and you're just seeing this blast of left-wing media all over the place. But we're the ones that are going to be the Nazis and want to keep people quiet.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you're putting people in prison who are doing the same thing, but with better reason that two of your people did.
And Marlon, when was this subpoena for Bannon to appear before the?
That was around the J6 thing. So a year.
Yeah, it was around the J6.
ago.
Yeah,
about 2 years
it
ago.
was during
A year and a half.
Yeah,
A year and a half. So they're waiting, like you
committee.
said. Like you said, the timing's perfect. They wait a whole year and a half plus to put him in jail now.
Mm-hmm.
When was he actually charged with?
Let's see here.
Yeah, let's see when he was charged.
Bannon was convicted nearly 2 years ago.
How is that possible?
Timing
So
is
he-
everything.
So he's been doing appeals for this whole time, and they had a stay for it, and then now they're like, yeah, you gotta report to jail now because it's an
Yeah.
election year. We need the coverage.
Yes.
Because
You
look,
gotta
because they just got the conviction of Donald Trump, so now they need Bannon to go to jail so they can
Mhm.
show that look at all these people that he's around that are all criminals.
Going to jail.
Right?
And it's
And
another
then-
thing. They have to shift the focus off of, the Prince of Darkness that's standing trial right now. So this is just another technique for them to shift that focus. Because if you think about it, how much true coverage have you heard about Hunter Biden?
None.
Compare it to Donald
Zero.
Trump.
Oh,
Zero.
Here's the other thing that you haven't heard about is the same day that Donald Trump was convicted was the same day that Biden authorized the use of U.S. military weapons inside of Russia.
Yeah, it's
Same
just-
day.
So this is just another way for them to shift the focus because it's election interference. If
Mhm.
people are watching Hunter Biden, Prince of Darkness, if they're watching it and they say, wait a minute, didn't they tell us in 2020 that this was a Russia hoax, that Russia did this, that this was all a lie? Biden stood up there on the debate stage and told the American people to their face that it's a lie. So they know with this trial going on, they have to find a way to shift it. And as Marlon stated earlier, perfect timing. Let's put Bannon out there to take the focus off the Hunter Biden and put the focus on Bannon. So let's take the coverage off Hunter Biden and shift the cameras over to Bannon. So while this is going on, the American people aren't seeing it.
Did you guys see the video of him running out of the room chasing a woman?
Who P. Diddy?
Oh, I saw that.
Mm-hmm. Who
That no,
Or-
Biden or Hunter.
Really?
Yeah, Hunter.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's almost like the Diddy. It's almost similar to Diddy's.
It was similar to
oh,
Diddy.
Yeah, it's the
It-
same
So
exact thing.
there's a lot of things that came out of that laptop, and there's a lot of things that came out of the testimony on Hunter's trial. One of them being that he got his brother's widow hooked on crack.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because like such an upstanding citizen of the world that he sleeps with his brother's wife after he's dead, and then it gets her addicted to crack cocaine. Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yes.
But hang on a second. Donald Trump is the real villain here. I mean, he's got such bad moral character and a decrepit moral compass, right, guys? I mean, it's just astounding that Trump with 34 convictions would be the arbiter of death and destruction and mayhem.
Yeah. You just have to see exactly what this is that these are show trials, because like even in the Soviet Union, you got a trial.
Yep.
Even in China, you get a trial. Even in North Korea, you get a trial.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's the right one, but you get one.
It's a check the block trial. Check the block.
see
Oh, well, he stood trial.
Against
we
the
did our
weighted
due
jury.
diligence. The Justice Department did their job.
Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
want from us? That's all it is, man.
Yeah,
I mean, because like I said, out of all the things they could have gotten Donald Trump for, out of all the things that they wanted to get him for, like falsifying business records was the best. Was it? Like you couldn't even get him on tax evasion, even like, like at least do an Al Capone here and like get him for tax evasion. You know, make it seem cool.
They
but
can't get him for
make-
that because they all do it.
Exactly. It's they make it seem like this guy is like the biggest mass murderer in the history of the planet.
All right. Can't hear you.
Yeah, we're gonna show you something here now.
Oh man.
Because I
It's
found
not
it.
that bad. I mean, it's bad, but
All right.
I don't
Here
think
you
we'll
go.
get demonetized for it. For educational
blurred.
purposes only.
It's blurred.
Okay.
Just wait. I'll back
fair
it up.
use. Fair use.
'Cause he's of
What a-
course.
Then watch. Gets up and drags her back to the room.
Now this.
Was that from the laptop?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is from
Or-
the security footage from the hotel.
Who's the girl?
Crazy.
I don't know, some prostitute.
Probably.
One of them cross-country prostitutes that he had. But he is fine.
He has
to continue
that's
walking.
True.
Yeah, he's
He
fine to
has
walk
been
around.
caught with that. Yeah, so like all the things that are on his laptop were enough to get like felony charges over and over again from any normal person.
Oh yeah,
Like even just
definitely.
one of them would have put him in jail for 10 years at the very least.
Bro,
Should
just the
have,
mere
at
fact that you
least.
record yourself weighing crack and have a gun in your hand at the same
Yep.
time. You documented your own crime, and you, because of your dad, just like he did in Ukraine,
Yeah.
you got away with it. You know, it's the par for the course. But they go after people who are influential in the public sphere that could easily sway votes from Biden to Donald Trump. They
Yep.
have to go after the voices. Now, we know personally that our stuff gets put to the backbench because of what we cover. We understand that.
Mhm.
But you'll see people that brag about the opposite, pride and all that. Their stuff just goes through the roof. So it's not even like it's not even measurable. It's measurable.
Yep.
It's seen. We can tell that you're trying to hide what we're talking about. We can tell that. And the more you do it, the more obvious it becomes. And you're actually helping the marketing by doing what you're doing. You're not making it worse for us. You're making it better for us because you're giving us actually a foundation from which to have our disagreement and disgruntlement with. We can now prove it that you've been doing it.
Mhm.
That is actually
Yeah.
better for us than you think, because while we could say we want to say it, you can always say, well, that's been debunked. However, when there are thousands of us saying something about Biden and it goes nowhere, we know who's been doing it, and that's the proof all we need. And now more people see that,
Yeah.
the better off they'll be, because then they'll start turning and they're starting to lose ground. The only people that are now backing the Democrat Party are, what's the name of this generation? Gen Z?
Gen
Z.
Z.
That's it. And
I don't
even
think-
them,
I don't
half
think
of them are
that-
waking up.
No, that's not even true. Like Gen Z is actually more conservative than the previous generation. It's millennials that are propping up the Democrat Party right now.
And the
see
thing
that
with,
either
you know,
coming in.
Gen Z stands for Z.
Asleep.
Asleep.
But it's so crazy to me that there's all these other politicians and all these other people that have done absolutely horrendous things that we just kind of play off. Everybody makes the joke about the Clintons and stuff like that, but they've done some awful things.
Oh yeah.
Like there's some really awful things, and people mysteriously die around them quite often. And then, you know, if you're the Obamas, you drowned in a lake somewhere accidentally.
Accidentally.
Quote unquote.
At least he
that
cooked
just kind
dinner.
of like gets shoved off. Like it's no big deal. Just the chef died.
You know,
Like, that
my
was-
favorite, you know, my favorite Clintonizing ever was the dude found in the tree who shot himself
That's-
and hung himself with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That one was impressive. I mean, how you sell that one? You could sell sand to an Arab that way. That is some,
Yeah.
that's some next level.
That
Or
is
the
dude
right
getting executed in DC after the Hillary Clinton emails were sent
Mm-hmm.
to Assange. Yeah.
But those are still free. The point we're making is everybody's talking about no one's above the law, above the law, above the law. Here's my 2 cents above the law.
It's a farce.
When Hillary Clinton testified before the House, and she told everybody out loud that she did indeed destroy phones, laptops, and bleach bit them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That alone should have easily been like, we're stopping the hearing right now.
Yep.
Please escort her to
Admitted a
jail.
crime.
Get her out of here. That didn't happen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they act like that never happened at all in the time that they were talking.
We should play Comey's clip where he's saying, "Here's all the bad things she did, but she didn't have any intent."
Yeah, and I get the point you're making, Marlon. It's they've been throwing all this stuff, like I said earlier, they've been throwing all this stuff right in front of our face. And a lot of the American people were just like, it is. She's like you said, it's an act. When they put him in trial, they put him in front of Congress. It's just to show the American people, look, we put them in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to them, we got whatever we needed, and this is what we found out. And Hillary Clinton, back to that lady, should be in jail. Look at the crimes she committed compared to what Trump committed. And they're ready to throw him in jail for the rest of his life for whatever he did, election fraud, whatever the heck they want to call it. And I don't know what they call it now. But all the stuff she did. And she's walking scot-free.
Yeah.
That's the rumor.
Okay, I got the one here. We're gonna listen to this real quick, because this is another part of what Bro was talking about. How they will do what they need to do in front of you, into your face, and there is nothing you can do. At least that's what they believe.
Hmm.
There's nothing.
At the time it was sent or received, or whether there was reason to classify it now, even if the content had not been classified when it was first sent or received. And that's the process sometimes referred to as up-classifying. From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received. 8 of those chains contained information that was top secret at the time they were sent. 36 of those chains contained secret information at the time, and 8 contained confidential information at the time. That's the lowest level of classification. Separate from those, about 2,000 additional emails were up-classified to make them confidential. Those emails had not been classified at the time that they were sent or received. The FBI also discovered several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton to State in 2014. We found those emails in a variety of ways. Some had been deleted over the years, and we found traces of them on servers or devices that have been connected to the private email domain. Others we found by reviewing the archived government accounts of people who'd been government employees at the same time as Secretary Clinton, including high-ranking officials at other agencies, folks with whom a Secretary of State might normally correspond. This helped us recover work-related emails that were not among the 30,000 that were produced to State. Still others we recovered from that painstaking review of the millions of email fragments dumped into the Slack space of the server that was decommissioned in 2013. With respect to the thousands of emails we found that were not among those produced to the State Department, agencies have concluded that 3 of those were classified at the time they were sent or received, 1 at the secret level and 2 at the confidential level. There were no additional top secret emails found. And finally, none of those we found have since been up-classified.
Now, how many classified documents are you allowed to send over a private server? None. How many classified documents are you allowed to share or send or receive on a private server? None. How many private and how many emails that are classified can you delete and throw out without verification? None. So even if one of those things are true, then she should have been arrested.
Yep.
Yeah.
But she was not.
So for Michael and I, could you imagine somebody from the unit having a private email server and was sending documents from the S2 to their private email server and back and forth between them?
Oh yeah, that's jail time.
Yeah, that's jail. So for those who don't know what S2 is, the shop that handles intelligence. It's the intelligence office of a battalion, generally, is the S2. So if you were sending secret documents to yourself at home, even if it was just to your regular laptop, that would get you sent to jail.
Yeah.
Just one email. That's all it would take, with one email, and you're going to jail. Because if it's not on the network that they put on there that you're not using your cat card for and you put in all your credentials for, if it's on a civilian server of any type, you're going to jail. Period.
Okay. Here we go. Now, to tell you, and again, bro, I'm glad you brought up this point, that does just say it. Listen carefully to what he says and tell me if it makes sense. Because to me, it don't make sense, but maybe to y'all it will.
Our assessment is that, like many email users, Secretary Clinton periodically deleted emails, or emails were purged from her system when devices were changed. Because she was not using a government account or even a commercial account like Gmail, there was no archiving at all of her emails. So it's not surprising that we discovered emails that were not on Secretary Clinton's system in 2014 when she produced those 30,000 some emails to State. It could also be that some of the additional work-related emails that we've recovered were among those deleted as personal by her lawyers when they reviewed and sorted her emails for production in late 2014.
How is that even
doing the
legal?
sorting for Secretary Clinton in 2014
gets
did
better.
not individually read the content of all of her emails as we did for those available to us. Instead, they relied on header information, and they used search terms to try to find all work-related emails among the reportedly more than 60,000 that were remaining on her system at the end of 2014.
Just wait.
It's highly likely that their search missed some work-related emails and that we later found them, for example, in the mailboxes of other officials or in the Slack space of a server.
Wait.
It's also likely that there are other work-related emails that they did not produce to state and that we did not find elsewhere and that are now gone because they deleted all emails they did not produce to state, and the lawyers then cleaned their devices in such a way as to preclude complete forensic recovery.
That is what you call covering your tracks, deleting evidence, and hiding crimes.
Yep.
She didn't only just not give what she was supposed to give, she deleted via her lawyers. Since y'all like to talk about, well, his lawyer and the lawyer fee and the lawyer, her lawyers didn't. You're trying to tell me she's the secretary. You couldn't ask her, is this particular email classified? No, the lawyers took it upon themselves to delete these emails. And then they went and wiped their phone so you could not find what was on there. That is called tampering with evidence.
Yep.
How is she still free?
It's called obstruction.
But Bannon, 4 months. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, I'm nothing more than a podunk civilian who's absolutely clueless on these proceedings and these types of instances. But how could you even hand over confidential documents to your own lawyers?
Unless they had security clearances in the first place, you're not supposed to.
And here's the thing with a security clearance. Just because you have a security clearance doesn't give you access to anything.
Does that security clearance also give you the capacity to delete confidential documents?
No.
No, that's even bigger of a no-no, is to delete
anything that gets deleted off a secret or top secret or any type of system like that has to go through the S2. The S2 will come through and wipe the computers clean.
Yeah. That did not happen.
No, because it wasn't a government server.
Because she wasn't even supposed to have it in the first place, because she's not supposed to be sending emails off network to begin with.
Yes.
That's the whole problem here.
And also the FBI couldn't even retrieve some of these things until much later.
No, they haven't. They still haven't.
But they can find passports in the wreckage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, when it comes to this justice system as a whole, again, they're showing us right to our face. Hillary Clinton's crimes were way more when it came to national security than whatever Steve Bannon did.
Yeah.
Steve Bannon gets 4 months. Hillary Clinton is walking free.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. If I were to have just one bit of confidential documentation of whatever, and I decide for whatever reason to hand it off to Marlon because, hey, check this review out. Let me know how this goes. I'd be under the jail cell.
Yes.
Here's a simple explanation. So say you're at work, right? And you have something that you're working on that's secret. And you said, I need to continue working. I need to work at home, but I don't have access to the network. So you send it to your private email.
You
can't do that.
So
you
I
send
can
it
go
to your private
so
email, and
it goes
that's
from
a no-no.
So I can do from something usstate.gov to @gmail.com.
Yes.
If you did that, you're going to jail. Yes, you cannot do that.
And the thing with those systems, they will allow you through the server to send emails to that.
Okay,
but if you do, you're donezo.
But Madam Beefcake herself is still walking around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I just want to make
So
sure.
if some poor PFC didn't know any better, sent an email that happened to be confidential or secret or whatever classification it was to his own personal email by accident, he's going to jail. Doesn't matter if he had intent, he still did it.
And, when you think of clearances go way beyond the military. Clearances are at police departments. Clearances are at federal buildings. They're at every level of everything. So it doesn't matter who did it, where did it, what department did it. A secret clearance is a secret clearance, and unless you have authorization to send that information, you have to go through the right channels, and usually S2 or your security division will tell you how to do that, and then it has to go from one person. If you're sending it to another person that has a clearance, they have to have authorization to actually review those documents. Just because they have a clearance doesn't mean they're authorized to see them.
Plus,
And the whole system, whole system is just jacked up.
And the Federal Bureau of Investigation even
messed it
admitted to even losing it and then deleting it.
Yeah.
Yes. They messed it up.
Now, I can tell you this. I worked in Amazon and I worked in Microsoft when they were putting up all of their infrastructure over here in Washington State. Because I was a foreman and I was going into their data area, you had to have a background check twice run, and you couldn't go in until the tour ran within a 1 month span. And we're talking about they're trying to see what the inside of your anus looks like in terms of security, right?
Yeah.
So they give you a card that you scan in with. This card is triggered as soon as you enter about 100 feet from the building. They can tell that you're near the building. Okay, this is how confidential this place is. So when you finally get checked in, you have to go through a scanner. You go past the scanner, scan the card again to deactivate the scanner you just came through. And it only opens certain doors in the entire facility. And whatever room you're cleared for, that's where you're only allowed. And cameras will tell if you've gone further than you should. The instant I decide to go into a room for whatever reason I may want that I'm not allowed in, you know what the first thing they will do? They'll call you to the front. Microsoft management shows up. They'll ask you why. They don't care why. They just want you to tell them why. And they'll tell you, hand over your card. You're no longer allowed on site and you just lost your job.
Yep.
Now, I work for the union, but Microsoft, because I broke protocol and went somewhere I wasn't supposed to with my clearance, I could have easily lost my job and be banned from Microsoft for forever. Now, if Microsoft has that kind of security, you're trying to tell me that government agencies are not going to look at you and say, yo, you have this on a private server. It should not be. And you go ahead and delete information from that private server. You don't get in trouble. Come on, man. Come on, bro.
And here's how you know it is intentional. Most places with high security like that. So you have your secret systems, you have your top secret systems. They're not the same. Then you have your green computer, the unclassified. So those there's no way for those systems to even connect to each other. So however she did it, there was some type of transfer. She intentionally transferred the data from that secret server to our computer, whatever it was, moved it over to an unclassed server, downloaded it because it will accept it. It will accept it. Downloaded it and moved on.
But it's the FBI. They can track all that, can't they?
Whether they can or not is not the point. Is whether they will.
Yeah.
You also remember that they admitted that there was interception on her side from foreign entities in her emails. Which they said happened. The FBI said happened, but she's not going to jail for breaching protocol and breaching security clearances here. Like, it's the same thing as if you walked into a skiff with your cell phone. Which, those of you who don't know what a skiff is a very nice little secret room where you're supposed to leave all your electronics out of, right? Because nothing's supposed to be leaked. But what she did was basically take an entire server and stuffed it in there and said, "This is fine. This is normal."
It's kind of like Biden and classified documents in his garage.
Yes,
that too,
just right next to his Corvette.
Too, isn't it? Isn't that a crime? Yeah. That's a crime.
It is because he was never.
Yeah.
He was never president at that time. He was vice president. And then he was a senator when all the other ones were there, which you're not allowed to do. Even if you're a senator, you can't just take secret documents to your house.
And unsecure them.
The reason it's different with Donald Trump is because he literally has the power to declassify whatever he wants.
And these are utilized by our tax dollars.
Ka-chang!
And the problem is that Steve Bannon, they're trying to make an example out of him, just like they've always done. All these people that they're going after now, this close to an election, is to make an example out of them. They're going all the way back to Jan 6 for Steve Bannon. It's to show the American people you can't hide, You can't run. We will get you. And they're going to throw him in jail just to prove a point. Another one of Trump's minions are behind bars. Look at him. He has all these felons and all these criminals that are backing him. And you guys support this criminal, this felon?
Yeah. Look at all of the death and destruction that happened in 2020 with the Summer of Love riots, and look how they treated Jan 6 versus all of that happened. Even though they went after federal buildings in those riots and even occupied spaces around federal buildings with armed militias. By the way, we can't forget they were armed militias that took over city streets in an actual insurrectionist act, right, with weapons, who killed 2 Black teenagers, by the way. Just want to point that out. In the BLM riots, killed 2 Black teenagers, but there's nothing wrong here to see.
That's Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen. Please move along. There's nothing to see here. Meanwhile,
nothing to see here.
the whole place is burning down behind him. Well, Steve Bannon had something to say, and I want him to defend himself because he can do that, and he'll tell exactly what's going on. His lawyer speaks, and then he speaks. We'll listen to it.
Thanks for sticking around. Yeah. So as you know, the judge today issued a surrender date of July 1st in order to let us appeal to a higher court, meaning the full Court of Appeals in D.C. and or the United States Supreme Court. As I said in the courtroom, this is an issue that legal scholars have said from day one is a case that has to go before the United States Supreme Court. The Licavoli case from 1961, as this judge found earlier in this case, cannot be reconciled with either the traditional notion of willfulness in the criminal law or the modern definition. There have been a number of cases just in the last few years that have fleshed this out and made clear that in this country, we don't send anyone to prison if they believed that they were doing something that complied with the law. In other words, what Justice Alito and Justice Thomas said in 2019, where Congress wants to require proof that a criminal defendant knew his conduct was illegal, it specifies that the violation must be willful. In the context of this statute, a misdemeanor, contempt of Congress, different from every single other statute in our jurisprudence, the court found that willful, in 1961, the court found that willfully make default, just means, did you get a subpoena and did you comply with it? That's not what willful means as a matter of law in the criminal context. And here, the case is complicated because former President Trump invoked executive privilege and reaffirmed that before the trial started, that he had invoked executive privilege. This case raises a dynamic separation of powers issue. We know from years and decades of case law that the president and a former president has the authority to invoke executive privilege. It's his prerogative, his or her prerogative, one day maybe her prerogative, but it's his prerogative to invoke, and it's presumptively valid when invoked. It's not for Congress to determine whether it was an appropriate invocation or otherwise, and Congress cannot be the arbiter of how to respond to that. Only a court can be. That's the McGahn case. Courts have spoken clearly about this. The judge's decision today cannot be reconciled with his earlier comments in the case that Licavoli was wrongly decided. And what he said today was, he acknowledged, and the government had argued, that this panel in Mr. Bannon's case didn't have the authority to overrule Licavoli. So how on earth can you find that there's no longer a substantial question when they never even considered the modern jurisprudence? The decision has it wrong factually in many, many ways. It's a horrible decision that overlooks facts in the record. But beyond all that, the fundamental principle of law here that's got to be vitiated in the United States Supreme Court is that willfully in the criminal conduct context means that you knew you did something wrong. The unequivocal evidence in this case, without any dispute, is that Mr. Bannon never got the subpoena. His lawyer got the subpoena, and his lawyer told him executive privilege has been invoked. President Trump confirmed that, and his lawyer told him that when executive privilege has been invoked, you may not, as a matter of law, comply with this subpoena. It's not your privilege to waive. And he offered the committee an out. He said, if the committee works out privilege with Mr. Trump, Bannon will comply fully. If the committee goes to a judge and a judge says either privilege doesn't apply or it doesn't extend this broadly, Mr. Bannon will comply fully. The committee only went criminal for their publicity reasons and for their political agenda. Yeah. And you can see that from every statement they made. And I'm going to say one more thing about this because this is another issue. The committee, the January 6th committee, was composed and engaged in conduct that violated the House rules without any question. There was never any ranking minority member, which was an essential part, as were other parts of the resolution creating it. My hope is that BLAG, the Bilateral Advisory Group in Congress, will be convened by the Speaker, and he will declare that once and for all, that the January 6th committee violated the House rules, and that their conduct and their actions and subpoenas issued by them were not lawful subpoenas. That's what they should do. They've talked about it day in and day out, that the committee wasn't properly composed and violated the rules. For the integrity of the House rules, I call on Speaker Johnson to simply convene BLAG and make that position clear as a matter of law. BLAG speaks for the House in legal matters. Thank you.
Now, I want to address, in case y'all don't understand what's going on here, because I think some of you may not. This is Steve Bannon defending his reasoning for not honoring the subpoena. And like Coy said earlier, he was not under any obligation to respect the subpoena because of presidential circumstances. Trump already said, no, we're not doing that. Don't worry. We're going to keep you out of it until the courts say otherwise. We're not doing that. So he didn't show up. Now, when it was later taken off the docket, he had to show up. By then, they said, no, too late. We're going to take it to court.
Right.
His lawyer, who's the short guy here talking, is 100% right. Where you cannot be doing this particular thing, especially, and this is what the thing is, if you watch all the court cases going on, timing is everything.
Yes.
They have to take specific parts off the board because those moving parts are persuading people. There's a reason why they're doing it now. They genuinely thought that by the time 2024 rolled around, they would have the whole country swayed.
Yeah.
They did not anticipate, just like they didn't in 16 and they didn't in 20, they didn't expect a wave of people to be disagreeing with them. So what they have to do is damage control, and the best damage control is to erase voices.
Yep.
Right. Which is what they're doing to Bannon and also Alex Jones. Alex Jones isn't immune from this. Look at what they're doing to him right now.
Right now.
With doing a forfeiture of his business. Right. So they're trying to get rid of one of the two major voices that helped get him elected in the first place was Steve Bannon and Alex Jones. Right. But the problem is that there are now more new voices amplifying Donald Trump than before. These are just the old ones.
Yeah.
They're trying to go after.
So let's see if Bannon has something to say.
Okay, thanks. I've got great lawyers, and we're going to go all the way to Supreme Court if we have to, but I want to say something specifically about the Justice Department. Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, the entire Justice Department, they're not going to shut up Trump. They're not going to shut up Navarro. They're not going to shut up Bannon, and they're certainly not going to shut up MAGA. If you look right here, you reporters, in the 2.5 or 3 years we've been here, look at the rise of MAGA, look at the rise of Donald Trump. If the election was held today, according to Harry Enton over at CNN, President Trump would win in a landslide. All of this, besides the major legal issues that have to be addressed, all of this is about one thing. This is about shutting down the MAGA movement, shutting down grassroots conservatives, shutting down President Trump. Not only are we winning, we are going to prevail. And every number and every poll shows that. There's nothing that can shut me up and nothing that will shut me up. There's not a prison built. There's not a prison built or a jail built that will ever shut me up.
That's right.
Victory to MAGA. We're going to win this. We're going to win at the Supreme Court. And more importantly, we're going to win on November 5th in an amazing landslide with the Senate, the House, and also Donald J. Trump back as President of the United States. Thank you very much.
Can we just give a shout out? Can we just give a shout out to the two beta male cucks that are sitting in the back of that?
I know in the back.
No one's even listening to him. They're not even loud enough.
And that's a great point that he brought up, and I posted something about this on other social media platforms. I was like, a lot of these people that call us cult leaders and all these ad homs that they like to throw out, they've been throwing them out for so many years that we're just like, whatever, call me what you want. Right. But this election is not about the man, Donald Trump. It really isn't. MAGA is a movement. So whether or not you try to destroy Trump, you try to get rid of Bannon, you try to get rid of people that are tied to him, no matter what, as Bannon stated, you're not going to stop the Make America Great Again movement. It's going to continue on, and it's going to bleed over to other politicians, and they're going to come out and it's just going to keep going and keep going. So no matter what you do, Doesn't matter. It's never going to stop. The grassroots conservative movement is in charge right now.
Shorty, no. In fact, it was discovered that whole Facebook thing was a farce. That's not even remotely real.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that he will eventually be sent somewhere, either Mar-a-Lago to be house arrest or arrested actually. They have whether he wants to admit it or not, they have the reins right now. And there isn't a whole lot that the people can do outside of vote. That's it. That's all you can really do. And even then, you're not secure. You're not secure in whether or not that'll matter. So
I was going to bring up something. It was an interesting interview Tucker Carlson had with Bukele, which is the El Salvadorian president. And there's a lot of parallels with what's happening right now to what he faced in El Salvador when he was trying to get everything done. And one of the best things that he said in this interview was that I just played the rules that they already put forth, and that the only way to do it right is to play their game in their system and win. Just make them mad by winning too much, basically, is what it came down to. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Yes. So we went to a small party and said, you don't have any candidates. You're very small. Do you want to win the election? So we got that party registration, and they canceled that party. Yeah. And they canceled that party in the last day that you can file the candidacies. So we got a medium-sized party at 11 p.m. and we were able to file our candidacy. So it was not like it was easy or the system wasn't rigged. It was just so fair that we just, we put up our proposals and the people just voted. It was very hard to win. And then when we won, since we even didn't have simultaneous parliamentary elections, we actually went to the executive branch, totally opposed to the legislative branch and the judicial branch. So they control the Supreme Court, and they control 90% of the legislative body. So I had to veto everything, and they override my vetoes, and they approved over 70 laws that I veto. Yes, and everything that we do, Supreme Court, is unconstitutional. Yeah. So we went to the people and said,
Doesn't that sound familiar?
It sounds like now
everything you're doing is unconstitutional. Yeah.
Yep.
So he goes on in the interview to say that what they ended up having to do is they had to win everything in order to win. And the way he did it is he got 75% of everything. He won. He just kept pushing until it didn't matter what the rules were. They just they didn't break the rules. They played by the rules, and they broke it by winning too hard. And that's what we have to do in November, is we have to win by breaking it so that they can't get mad because we won. The score is the score.
Right.
You have the rules for the game, but we won according to your rules, and the score is the score. That's what it is.
And that's what Donald Trump's been talking about. He has that term, too big to steal. And
exactly.
As long as we're winning, there's nothing they can steal. And we've been saying this on this podcast many times about Republicans, rhinos. They keep playing nice, man. It's like they don't even want to play dirty. Democrats will play dirty all day. They'll do these dirty tricks. They'll have these false cases, and Republicans just take it, like a battered kid. They just take it and don't do anything about it. Then they wonder why their base are turning to people like Donald Trump. So they need to figure it out, because come November, if the election happens, come November, it will be too big to steal. As Bannon said, they're going to take the Senate. They're going to take the House. They're definitely going to take the White House. And Democrats aren't going to know what to do. This is why they keep pushing this this narrative of Donald Trump's coming out for revenge.
Right.
Donald Trump is coming to get us. Why would you say that? Why would anyone who is innocent be worried about that? If you're innocent, you shouldn't have to worry about the man getting elected. But they're more worried about what's going to happen to them if he gets elected.
And they should be.
Yes.
Look, if I have any words to tell Mr. Trump, is this: yes, go after him. Enough with the sissing around. Yep. Enough with the playing nice. Enough with negotiations. We're not negotiating anymore, bro. We don't need to negotiate with nobody.
Would you
literally no one?
Would you say that they're like terrorists that we don't negotiate with?
Yes, they are. They are. Okay. Fauci admitted as much, right? So why are we making friends with them? Why are we even trying to? What we should be following their mantra, because this is how they win. We should. If you put Trump in power, he should go after every last one of them that ruined his life.
Yep.
And I mean, with guns blazing, go after them, night raids and everything.
From media to
all of it.
And
bust down the door of CNN and bust down the door of all the Democrat senators and congressmen. Just bust it out 2:00 in the morning. Oh, we're just checking for stuff in your house.
That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. But the way Donald Trump should do it is, first off, declassify everything. Everything. Share it all of it.
Everywhere.
Put it out there for the people to see. Declassify it all. And then give the people some time to take it all in. And now they're reading this stuff that's been hidden from them about all the fraud, about all the money laundering, about all the lies with all these wars, about all of this, and get the people to soak it in. And then you get them. Now it's justified because the people seen it. So when he goes after these people, the normal person will be like, well, dang, didn't they set these people up at Jan 6? They need to go down. So I hope it happens, and I pray that he does it.
I don't think he will.
Live stream the raids.
I don't think he will, but I hope they do. I hope that they did it with Roger, right?
Yeah.
There were crews on the ground when he showed up. Huh?
Yep.
Menendez, the senator from New York, with the gold bars and the money and stuff. Like, why didn't they do a 4 a.m. raid at his house from the FBI and let the New York Times know ahead of time?
Right?
Yeah, it's all sensationalism, man. Like he said, Roger Stone, they knocked on his door in the middle of the night with guns and everything. Like they was going after some terrorist, some guy that had a whole arsenal in his house ready to fight. He wasn't that guy. So all of this is done in order for the American people, it's to scare the American people. I pray, and I have a good feeling that all these people that did all this dirt, all this corruption, all this fraud, it will be live streamed. The revolution will be televised, and it's going to be for all the people to see and watch. Just pay attention.
As much as I like Roger Stone, he does look like an aged Pee Wee Herman, but that's just
he does. His eyes.
But
his eyes. Yeah.
Here's the thing: is that the establishment wants violence, right? So that's what they keep pushing everything towards. Is they're wanting violence from somebody. It doesn't matter who it is; they'll probably do it themselves if they have to. The thing that we have to do is we have to do it through the legitimate process in order to delegitimize whatever the hell they're trying to do. That's the thing. So like getting the votes as much as possible to the point that they can't have anything to say, and then when he comes after him, he's like, "Hey, look, man. I'm just doing what you did. I'm within the bounds of the law that you set. I'm playing the rules you played."
I agree, doing it legitimate, getting the votes, doing the right thing, doing all that stuff. But after that, after you win, ain't no more Mr. Nice Guy. You go after him.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's still playing the rules that they set.
Yeah, you play the rules. Yeah,
they
you're
set
right.
the table.
Yeah.
So for example, like when what's her face, Maxine Waters literally went out into the streets of her city and said, "Go and harass them, let them know they don't belong." We could do that too now. That's the rules, right? Okay, cool.
That's the rules.
Making sure Menendez goes to jail for corruption.
Yeah,
that would be a good start.
You just have to take the gloves off. And a lot of conservatives, a lot of right-leaning people have been saying that. We have to take the gloves off. Stop playing nice. Even on social media, I keep putting out, for one, stop engaging with these leftists. I'll say it over and over again. Now, if you're just making fun of somebody and you're trying to come back with a clap back, that's different. But don't intentionally go in their pages and give them any clout. Don't give it to them. Let them do them. If they come on your page and they want to leave some dirty comment, block them. Don't give them anything because that's what they want. Don't give them.
Never going to change these people's mind.
No, we're not going to change each other's mind, like Coy said. Don't jump in their lives trying to debate them. We're not going to change each other's mind. Stop inviting them in your lives as opposition. It's just an argument. It's no more debate.
Unless you have fun with it, unless you have fun with it, it's hilarious too.
Yeah, or if you have fun, I mean,
humor yourself, yes.
Yeah,
but if you're doing it to try and persuade, there's no more aisle to reach across. The chasm is too big. There's a gap now that not even a bridge crew could fix. It's done. I think people should be calling for a national separation and be done with these people. Because listen, normally someone who has the mindset they do has to go through therapy, electroshock therapy, rubber room therapy, straight jacket therapy to get over what they are talking about. So a conversation will not fix that.
Nope.
And all you're doing is inviting the crazy to cling to you. Don't do it.
They view you the exact same way. It's not like they see you as a person anyway. The way that their rhetoric goes to about conservatives is they don't see you as people. They don't even see you deserving of living in the same America as they do. So why should we accept that ourselves if they already believe that?
That's the way we see it. Now Wednesday, we don't have a topic picked out yet, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on. Leo said he won't be here Wednesday.
Correct.
Friday is another famous Friday, and we do have a select few already.
Whoa!
Now, I don't want. I'm going to put the disclaimer out now. Do not call us bullies.
Yeah,
we didn't start this.
Nope.
But we will finish it.
We finish it. I'm saying we will finish it.
Well,
so
for Wednesday, I nominate the whole thing that breaking news before we came on is that Fetterman was involved in an
Let's
accident.
do that. We'll talk Fetterman.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And
we'll talk Fetterman.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know who we're talking about, Jay, Friday. Neckbeard. Chicken nuggets.
Hold on.
Chicken nuggets.
We're gonna show you who we're talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna show you.
Just hang
Hey,
on.
he wanted this smoke. We try to be nice. You know what I mean? He gonna come after me, and you know me, I don't really do that. You know, you guys know how I operate.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. You guys, you say that, but at the same time, it's like we do that all the time.
But
so
I don't do it on my. I don't do it on my social media, on my TikTok.
Yeah.
Right, but telling me that we hit him back, it's like we hit everybody back.
Yeah, but we're built to be bats and hammers. That's different.
Yeah, I get that. But so now who's the nail?
This one.
Literal neckbeard. Jesus.
He looks like one of the clumps.
Okay, fine.
Okay. That's not even a 6 o'clock shadow anymore. That's an upside down clock. Okay, just so y'all know.
Okay. All right. Okay. No, Friday's fine. That's cool. We'll
Now,
do this.
this is what I'm talking about. Don't call us bullies.
Yeah.
Don't call us bullies when you hear it. Okay. Don't call us. Understand? We try to avoid this dude, and he keeps coming.
Yeah.
So when you hear him talk, you'll understand why
like
I'm
that,
gonna tell you
phrasing.
don't dog us. Here we go.
He's keeping
Don't
tabs
just
on
calling
me.
people out on their BS, and you're gonna get this work. You're in the crossfire. So I dare you to call me a kid. I'm an invert. I'm 24. I am a man. I'm smarter
kid.
than you.
He
All right,
sounds
kid.
smarter than you.
It's hard. It's hard to be convinced that you're a man when you sound like that. I'm sorry.
Like
What's
I'm a man.
He's got the IQ of a fart.
what's an
I'm
invert?
not trying to be mean, but God, dude.
Oh,
like,
you know the
seriously.
definition of
it's
invert.
kind of like an innie for your navel, but not.
It's like
We'll put that down in the
it's like
definition
Pee Wee
category.
Herman
as
saying
what-
that I'm a man.
What's the word?
can't-
What's the word?
Invert?
Inferior. It's kind of like inferior.
Inferior.
Okay.
He's feeling inferior.
So
today.
we need invert's a word though, but he used it out of context.
Yeah, he's an invert.
So that's another
Well,
T-shirt design with his neck beard. I'm an invert. That's
Seriously,
what he used an
people,
invert.
If you can't grow anything,
Stop.
then don't
Shave it.
do
Stop.
that.
Why do you
Like,
think I
it's-
only do this? That's all I can do, and I don't leave this to get scruffy to act like I know what I can do.
I can't get above here either. Like I have my issues with mine, but I work around
He's
with what I got.
introverted.
And I'm genetically incapable.
It's the
Hey.
Asian gene, man. You can't help
can't-
it.
You
Mine
can't even
girls-
Genghis Khan this, man.
No.
Yeah.
Mine grows like Wyatt Earp if I let it go. It's just like
I know he's got a great mustache.
You
wish
can't
I
see
could
that
do
man's
that.
mouth when he grows his stash.
no, you can. It gets thick. I have to cut it off.
You look like a
Like,
walrus.
I get the goatee. I get a good goatee going, but like anything other than that, that's about it.
This is bro when he grows his mustache.
Like a Black Stan Elliott.
So don't
Oh,
get mad
man.
at us on Friday. We having
Stan Elliott
fun
with
because
dreads. That's what
they-
they call you from now on.
They don't know how to get away with things and come to us with, they don't know how, but we do. So enjoy the show Friday, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about Mr. Fetty Wap on
Wednesday.
He looks like a
Wednesday.
milk dud after he
Right,
eats
he would
milk.
have to
He looks
actually
like
have
milk.
a neck to be
He
a
looks like
neckbeard.
milk duds after he was shaving and he dropped one and he picked it up. And he had hair on-
Oh,
Bullying me.
All right,
Oh,
so we'll
man.
catch
I'm a
you
real
guys.
boy.
We'll catch you guys on Wednesday. We will be doing Saturday. I apologize that absence of Savage Patriots on Rumble Saturday was on me. I was incapacitated at the time, but I won't have any more tests, so I'll be fine on Saturday to do our Rumble.
Oh, also, I have a new cooking video coming out. Hopefully tonight. I'm feeling a little under the weather, but the meat's marinating, so it should be, if not tonight, definitely tomorrow afternoon.
Marinate the meat.
Yeah.
Pause.
Perfecto. So we'll catch you guys then. Don't be a stranger. Make sure you do all you're supposed to do, please. What's that?
On the hooch.
Yeah, what's on the hooch? No hooch?
None
Yeah,
right
not
now.
for
We're
not for
taking
right
a
now. Not for
hiatus
right
at the
now.
moment.
Yeah.
Transitionary.
Yeah, we're transitioning.
So just
Rebrand.
keep an ear out for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Reorienting would be a better one than transitioning.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to transition.
It's transition now without it being a thing, you know.
I don't want to
They're
transition.
trans now. They're trans.
I don't want to transition.
The trans hooch.
It's,
the
okay, it's like inflation. It's transitory, right?
Ah, there it is. Okay.
Transitory.
Bidenomics, everybody. Hitting the hooch today. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all Wednesday.
Catch you guys. Peace.
Peace.